Why we decided to move to France with our family is the most frequently asked question by everyone we meet. Not so strange, because secretly that's also always the first question that comes to my mind when someone says they're going to emigrate to another country. In August 2022, we left the Netherlands for a very uncertain future in France. Uncertain because at that time we hadn't bought a house in France yet. Fortunately, we quickly found our little farmhouse, and in December we got the keys to our renovation project. As a little girl, I could fantasize for hours about what it would be like to live in a country other than the Netherlands. And that even though we never really went on vacation. Maybe that's precisely why, because who doesn't secretly long for the unknown, to dream a little about what it would be like in a place you've never been to. Fortunately, during my first meeting with Jeroen, I found out that I wasn't the only one who had the desire to live abroad. Jeroen also wanted to live abroad after his studies, but unfortunately it didn't work out due to circumstances. But we shared the same desire. We got married, had children, and went on vacation together with our family to France, a country we quickly fell in love with. Because yes, France had so much to offer. Beautiful villages with charming squares, authentic houses, a varied landscape with expansive views of the hills, countless lakes and rivers, and to top it off, the Alps and the Pyrenees, where we can practice our favorite sport, skiing. Living in France was often a topic of conversation during our discussions. Because how much more peaceful it is to live in a country where it's much less crowded, much less stressful, and where you feel much more connected to nature. This desire was fueled each time during every vacation in France. Every vacation we were looking at houses. And as soon as we got home, we continued the search online. But each time we didn't dare to take the leap. After all, it's not easy to give up your familiar life for an uncertain future. You have to learn a new language, leave all your family and friends behind. And for the children, it's also a big change, because they also have to learn the language, go to a new school, and leave their friends behind. And then came 2020, and the world suddenly came to a standstill due to COVID-19 and the global lockdowns. Almost our entire income disappeared out of nowhere. Jeroen and I had been self-employed entrepreneurs for years and had our own publishing company. We published a brocante interior magazine and brocante books. I was mainly responsible for the photography and Jeroen for the design. During the lockdown, all bookstores in the Netherlands had to close, and we only had income from supermarket sales, which was minimal because larger well-known magazines took precedence on supermarket shelves. We also had income from people who subscribed to our magazine. This was a tough period because we could barely afford the mortgage on our house, a house which we had bought a half year before in July 2019. But there are also positive aspects to the lockdown. Suddenly, we had more time for our family. Working was not possible because I normally photographed interiors at people's homes, which was not allowed during the lockdown. The children were also required to do schoolwork at home, so after they finished, we had time for fun activities together. The fact that we couldn't go anywhere didn't dampen the fun. Playing games at the kitchen table or in our garden at home was also very enjoyable. We began to reflect on our lives. Was this really the life we wanted? Or would it be nicer to lead a quieter, more peaceful life and spend more time with our children? Living in France came up again, but we didn't dare to take the leap. The end of the first lockdown was approaching and we returned to our normal lives. We had good hope that our company, Enjoy Brocante, would recover. However, we realized that if there were another lockdown, our company was very vulnerable. So we decided to start a new company, Little Amour Wallpaper, specializing in wallpapers for children's room, which we sold online through our own webshop and other retailers. With 3 children who wanted nice wallpaper, this seemed like a logical choice. A few months after the launch of Little Amour, a second lockdown occurred in the Netherlands, and the realization grew that we couldn't continue living this way. We wanted to preserve the feeling of freedom in the countryside, but with a high mortgage, it was no longer feasible in the Netherlands. The dream of living in France came up again. Around the same time, we received the terrible news that a close friend was terminally ill and likely didn't have much time left to live. She was just 58 years old. This made us realize that we should do things now rather than later. So in the summer of 2021, we had our house appraised by a real estate agent, even though we had only lived there for 2 years. Due to all the renovations, we had built up a significant amount of equity in our house. However, after the appraisal, doubts crept in again because we thought that our company, Enjoy Brocante, might recover and Little Amour would provide us with income. We found all sorts of reasons not to do it, such as the children missing their friends. But at the end of December, a turning point suddenly came when I collaborated with a stylist for a wallpaper brand. She told me that she, with her young family, was emigrating to Italy. They had made the decision fairly quickly, partly due to COVID and the desire for a quieter life, And they were going for it, without much overthinking, like we always did. I sent this news to Jeroen via WhatsApp, and that evening we suddenly realized, why shouldn't we just do it too? Instead of just thinking like many do, we should just do it. We could keep postponing it indefinitely and find more reasons not to do it than to do it. But after all, we only live once. So why not follow our hearts instead of constantly thinking with our heads? Also because we always felt like we would disappoint a lot of people if we did it. And yes, then things happened quickly. We decided to go house hunting online, visited houses during the May holiday, and put our house in the Netherlands up for sale in June. We visited even more houses in July, sold our house in the Netherlands in August, and finally moved to France, even without having found a house yet, but you can see more about that in one of our other videos. In the meantime, we've been living here for quite some time in a renovation project in the lotetgaronne, where every day we make it a bit more like our dream place. We also decided to end our first company, Enjoy Brocante, as it still hadn't recovered after all this time, and we had to put money into it every month. So now we're taking it a bit easier than we initially thought when we came here, as we only have one small business now. At this moment, this business will provide us with a basic income and hopefully generate more income in the future. We enjoy the peace and space here and the time with our family. Although sitting still isn't really our thing, we've decided to document our life on this YouTube channel, hoping to inspire others. We are incredibly grateful for every view, like, subscriber and all the fantastic comments, because making these videos is a lot of work. So now you finally know why we moved here. A lot of reasons that together made us just do it. And for all the people who follow us to see how we turn our renovation project into a true palace, you can expect a regular renovation video next time. In fact, we hope to get back to work renovating on the bedrooms, which has been a bit stagnant since the summer vacation.